You're welcome to today's episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. My name is Fagbeja, and today I'll be reading Dora's story. I am the last of 3 siblings. My older sister was 7 years older than me, and my brother is 4 years ahead of me. I speak of my sister in past tense because she passed away 4 years ago at the age of 33. She had been married for 7 years. We grew up with our parents in Enugu State. I started living with my sister in Lagos just as she got married because she was already pregnant and 6 months gone at the time. I was still seeking admission to the university, and so I was there to help her. When I got admission a year later, I didn't move to school since her house was not far. She worked, and so she needed my support along with the domestic helps she hired over the years. She had 2 kids in the first 3 years. I finished school and processed my youth service to Lagos so I didn't have to leave home. In fact, I worked with my sister's husband in his company during and after my youth service. My sister died while having her 3rd child, and we were also devastated. Her husband was inconsolable for months. The baby survived, so I was there to take care of her and the older children. About 18 months after my sister passed, my brother-in-law and I were in the sitting room one evening after all the children were in bed. This was not strange, since we used to do this when my sister was alive. We would all sit together and watch a movie or just sharing light banter. On this particular night, we were both watching a movie, although the mood was somewhat quiet, as it often was at that period. Each of us was watching the movie silently, when he suddenly said to me, "Dora, I want you to be my wife." I wasn't sure I heard him right. "Uncle Francis, what did you say?" I said, "I want to marry you." He repeated himself. I have been thinking about it for the last 4 months. I know it may seem odd, but everything works. I loved your sister with everything I had, and losing her is the hardest thing that has happened to me. But over the last 1 year, I have watched you step up and take charge of this home in spite of your grief. You love the children as if they are yours. My mind will always be at peace knowing they are in your care. And the more I watched you, the more I have come to see that you are everything I could ever want in a woman. You are beautiful, smart, and most importantly, you are kind. Why should I have a treasure in my grasp and let it go? But, Uncle, what will people say? It will seem so absurd. My sister has not even been gone for 2 years, and now this. I don't think it's right. We pushed it back and forth for a few minutes. He told me we didn't have to get married immediately, and eventually he made me promise to think about it. I became extremely self-conscious around him from then on. I thought about it. He was a good man, kind, generous, and helpful, a great dad, and a fantastic husband to my sister. It was after he asked me that I started to look at him as a man rather than just my brother-in-law. He was 10 years older than me, and the age difference was clear, but he looked great for his age. He walked for exercise often, so he was fit. I've always known that he was good looking, but now he looked attractive. Still, it was difficult to work past how it would seem to people. He must have noticed that I was avoiding him, even at the office, because about a month later, it was my dad who called me to say my brother-in-law had spoken to him about his intentions towards me, but said I had been avoiding giving him an answer. My dad said I had the blessing of both he and my mom, except I wasn't interested in the proposal, in which case he advised I would need to start thinking about moving out as the situation would be awkward. I realized that I had a decision to make, and after giving it a little more thought, I decided to go ahead with it. So I told my brother-in-law the week after speaking to my dad. He was elated. We agreed that we needed to tell the children. It was only the oldest one who could really understand, and she was excited about it. We waited another 6 months before we went ahead with a quiet ceremony at my request. The last 2 years have been pure bliss. I have grown to love Francis so much, it's hard to think he was once just my brother-in-law. We decided to have 2 more children, but we wanted to wait a while. I am now pregnant with my first child, and with the way things are, I think my sister would be happy to see how it all turned out. This is important for me because I felt a tinge of guilt in the early days, especially moving into her room and sharing their matrimonial bed. I stopped working at the company, and even though Francis still pays me monthly, I started a catering business. The children are excited to welcome their new sibling, and we are one happy family. What's your perspective on Dora marrying her older sister's husband? Please share in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my stories.